Hello, Bill.
Good morning, Steve.
Pardon me. Good morning, fellowshippers. Welcome to the December 7th celebration of Fellowship of Spirit. Beautiful day. Looks like it might even warm up some today. Kate and I are fresh back from the last 2 Sundays being on vacation at Elephant Butte near Truth or Consequences, which used to be called Spring City, New Mexico, because it's chock full of hot springs. So we got soaked up there and enjoyed the views and riding our e-bikes and getting around and treating ourselves to some really good dinners. I would highly recommend Bigfoot Restaurant in Elephant Butte, New Mexico, which there is a town named after the. Did my speaker go off? Hello? Yes. Okay. It's still there. Anyway, that got us really relaxed and all. And the way we broke loose of that spell was we booked our next vacation, which is going to be happening from Christmas Eve through sometime into the new year. And we're going to be at Patagonia Lake, Arizona, which is near Nogales. And hopefully we'll have good weather there. We're going to take the boat and everything. So it's nice to be back, and I'm glad to be taking this role, which I've missed. Here at Fellowship of Spirit, our mission is to positively affect our world by extending peace, love, spirituality, understanding, and friendship to all people with grace and gratitude. And that's to further our vision, which is to be a spiritual center of awakening the I Am Christ consciousness. And with that, I welcome you all. Hi, Margaret. Welcome.
Hi.
And today our speaker is going to be Mark Wolf. His title of his is a long title, Shepherds, Wisemen, and Santa. It must be Christmas song. Seek not afar for beauty.
What?
Yeah, I know.
You read 2 different things.
Huh?
One is a song, one is a sermon.
Oh, okay. I got you. There was no break there. They all ran into one line, so I got it though. And that's the song that Shay is gonna sing after Mark's. Shay is our musician today, and she's gonna be singing music that's not in any of our books. So I will start off right now with Shay doing the prelude, which is voice still and small.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears through all the years, singing. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing. calming my fears, quenching my tears through all the years, singing.
Thank you, Shay. Very lovely, very lovely. Okay, and our opening prayer is going to be presented by Susan Barnes. So, Susan?
Okay, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
Because I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little rough, but I
You
hear
me
you
now?
better.
Okay. Yeah, we have a boost. I can talk louder. Does that
Now
work?
that works.
Okay, well, I'll just shout through the whole thing.
So,
Okay, go for it, Susan.
well, first of all, good morning, and it's so good to be here. Where it's quite warm, so I would like to send some of that warmth to you in the form of love, charity. So let us all take a deep breath and let it go and feel the warmth and the love that our Creator has for us. Mother, Father, God, Creator of everything that is, today we give you thanks for all that we have, for all that we are, and for all that we are able to do. We give thanks for this fellowship, for Shay's beautiful voice, an incredible repertoire of songs. We give thanks for this time of year when we learn to give and also we learn to receive. For it is only in being able to receive that we can return those gifts to all those around us. We give thanks for our health and well-being, and we know that you will be with all those who are not here, who are in need of your comfort, of your healing. That we know that no matter what we do, if we hold out our hand, you will be there with us, guiding us, leading us, and leading us to our highest good and to the highest good of all those around us. For all of these wonderful, wonderful gifts, we give thanks. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Susan. Okay, that brings us to our next song, which is Dark of Winter.
I think we're okay. Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And then my soul may hear a voice, a blessed voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Thank you, Shay. Okay, next we have our reflection moment. And if you will all read along with me. A reflection moment is love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another, and we create an atmosphere of holiness. And so it is. Well, leading into our next wow, all of a sudden, everything woke up. Okay, is that while Kate and I were in Albuquerque, we spent a couple of days visiting with George and helping him with various things that he needed help with, and his health has improved, and we were glad to be part of that. We also helped get him hooked up with a new cell phone, so now he's much easier to get in contact with. He actually gets messages and responds. He can actually answer the phone. So I encourage everybody to give him some calls, give him a little company. He's looking at another operation that will hopefully rid him of having to have a catheter. So let's put our energy that way. And okay, hang on.
I think the batteries are going out on that one.
Doing a little change up here. I think I got this thing on right. Yeah, can you hear me, Susan?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Gaia. And Gaia is going to be our next presenter here because she's going to give us spiritual energy treatment through Qigong. And this will be for George Harris, Ron Holloway, Debbie Ward, and many others who are in our prayer circle and Power of Eight. So go for it, Gaia.
So let's first connect ourselves to source energy by taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the top of our head and down to our heart. And now let's call to mind anyone we know in need of extra chi, extra energy, and all the people that were named by Steve. Visualize them, and in a moment we'll take 3 deep breaths, breathing the energy in through the top of our head, down to our heart, and out our hearts to those people. Inhaling. Exhaling, sending the chi, source energy. Again, inhaling. And again, sending the chi. Once more, inhaling. And sending all this chi for their highest good and the highest good of all. And bringing our hands in prayer position, sealing in the healing chi. Thank you so much for this opportunity to send and receive chi.
Thank you very much, Yvette.
Just about.
Thank you. All righty. So now that brings us to our spiritual reading. This today is going to be done by whom? Oh, no, I didn't show up prepared for that. I could though, if needed. Okay, so this is actually the third Sunday, right?
I'm sorry?
This is the third Sunday?
No, this is the first Sunday.
Oh,
This is December.
okay, that's right. I was gone for part of that, so.
I find something interesting in here. Listen to your feelings. They're trying to tell you something. Can everybody hear me? You have at your disposal a foolproof guidance system to navigate you through life. This system, which constantly, I don't know if I can read this or not.
I will gladly read it if you want.
You may have to. My eyes are watering pretty bad today.
Yeah. Listen to your feelings. They are trying to tell you something. You have at your disposal a foolproof guidance system to navigate you through life. This system, which consists solely of your own feelings, lets you know whether you are off track and headed towards unhappiness and conflict, or on track, headed towards peace of mind. Your feelings act as a barometer, letting you know that what your internal weather is like. When you're not caught up in your thinking, taking things too seriously, your feelings will generally positive. They will be affirming that you are using your thinking to your advantage. No mental adjustment needs to be made. When your experience of life is other than pleasant, when you're feeling angry, resentful, depressed, stressed out, frustrated, and so forth, your warning system of feelings kicks in like a red flag to remind you that you are off track, that it's time to ease up on your thinking. You've lost perspective. Mental adjustment does need to be made. You can think of your negative feelings in the same way you think of the warning lights on the dashboard. You don't take the bait. The person, I think it says, if you don't take the bait, the person will probably call someone else to see if they will become involved. This doesn't mean you never catch the ball, only that it's your choice to do so. Neither does this mean that you don't care about your friend or that you're crass or unhelpful. Developing a more tranquil outlook in life requires that we know our own limits and that we take responsibility for our part in the process. Most of us get balls thrown at us many times each day. At work, from our children, friends, neighbors, salespeople, even strangers. If I caught all the balls thrown in my direction, I would certainly go crazy. And I suspect that you would too. The key is to know when you're catching another ball so that we won't feel victimized, resentful, or overwhelmed. Even something terribly simple like answering your phone when you're really too busy to talk is a form of catching the ball. By answering the phone, you are willingly taking part in an interaction that you may not have the time, energy, or mindset for the present time. By simply not answering the phone, you are taking responsibility for your own peace of mind. The same idea applies to being insulted or criticized. When someone throws an idea or comment in your direction, you can catch it and feel hurt, or you can drop it and go on with your day. The idea of not catching the ball simply because it's thrown to you is a powerful tool to explore. I hope you'll experiment with this one. You may find that you catch the ball a lot more than you think you do. Yes,
I certainly understand that.
I do
And
too.
relate to it, so.
Yeah, and one thing that I've learned is that you don't have to answer the phone. That's why you have voicemail.
Yeah.
And if it's not important enough for them to leave a voicemail, then I guess it wasn't important enough to answer the phone.
Do you ever find yourself wishing for that black box that sat on the desk at home that you never knew if it rang when you weren't home?
Yeah,
Sometimes I
right.
would like that thing.
I understand that.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another song by Shay. All Beautiful, the March of Days.
All beautiful the march of days as seasons come and go. The hand that shapes the rose hath wrought the crystal of the snow, hath sent the hoary frost of heaven, the flowing waters sealed, and laid a silent loveliness on hill and wood and field. O'er white expanses sparkling clear, the radiant morns unfold. The solemn splendors of the night burn brighter through the cold. Life mounts in every throbbing vein, love deepens round the hearth, and clearer sounds the angel hymn, goodwill to all on earth. O thou from whose unfathomed law the year in beauty folds, thyself the vision passing by in crystal and in rose. Day unto day doth utter speech, and night to night proclaim, in ever-changing words of light, the wonder of thy name.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shay. Okay. The main part of our show here is a message from Mark Wolf. Shepherds, Wisemen, and Santa, it must be Christmas, without all that other stuff I added on. So, hey, Mark, it's all
Hey,
yours, buddy.
all right. That must be my cue.
I think so.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Fellowship of Spirit and times and places beyond. Good morning. I'm really happy to be here with you this morning. Hey, listen, I don't know if anybody else heard about this, but it's Christmas. Okay? You know, I said the stores have only had Christmas decorations out since July, so how could it sneak up on you? It did. But that's all right. Listen, we love have this funny relationship with Christmas, and there's so much about this season to love. There really is. There's so much about this season to love that we want to keep it alive and keep it going all year long. But that's really what I wanted to talk with you about. In this morning, we're going to look at how to keep Christmas alive all year long, and in order to do that, we're going to look at three very very different experiences of Christmas and trying to figure out where we are with that. So, keeping Christmas alive all year, we'd like to do that. We're going to keep the spirit of Christmas alive. Well, we're going to keep Christmas all year. What does that mean? Okay, it sounds great. Oh, we're all warm and fuzzy, but what does it mean? How do you do that? How do you do it? And you can ask people, and everybody's got a little different answer. And say, well, it's the snow. Oh, I love a white Christmas. It's magical. It's just so beautiful. It's so still and tranquil and quiet, and the snow's coming down. So we want to keep snow all year long. Is that what I'm hearing? The tranquility and the peace and the snow. Well, listen. I lived in Durango. Speaking of snow, I lived in Durango for 11 years, and I shoveled more than my share of snow in those 11 years. And I don't really want to do that again. I was thinking about that earlier this week when I was shoveling snow out here. Um, Said, no, we don't need that all year long. That's not Christmas. No, that's not really Christmas, but the Christmas music is so beautiful. And we want to keep the Christmas alive with the music. Well, I have I'm very sophisticated. I have satellite radio, and, and my satellite radio has a Christmas all year station. I listen to it. It's fun. So if you want to keep Christmas alive all year with Christmas music, sing Jingle Bells in July. Okay, try singing Jingle Bells in July, and somebody's going to throw a shoe at you. Okay, I'm certain of it. Um, so maybe it's not the music, but well, I love the Christmas lights. They're just so beautiful, so colorful and everything. Okay, well, that's fine. The Christmas lights, we could do that. If you like Christmas lights, then keep them up all year. Seriously. In Durango, my neighbor kept her Christmas tree up until Easter, and she kept her lights up all year long. So if you want to, if it's the Christmas lights that do it for you, well then keep them up all year. It's fine. Um, but I think that really when we get down to the bottom line, there's none of this is really what we're talking about when we say that we need to keep Christmas all year. So this morning, let's share, as I said, we're going to look at how to keep the meaning of Christmas alive all year long. Um, with without July jingle bells, you know. Um, and we're going to look at three different experiences of Christmas. So that's why the message this morning is entitled "Shepherds, Wise Men, and Santa Claus." There's your hint. It must be Christmas. So shepherds. All right. Right there, that shepherds, that takes us right to the Gospel of Luke. Okay, very famous passage. Of course, we're going to read it this morning. It's Christmas. You got to read this for Christmas. And this passage is familiar to us, even if all you've ever done was watch the Charlie Brown Christmas special, then you've heard this, but it's worth hearing again. And after all, it is Christmas. And we're looking at Luke chapter 2. And it says, very famous here, but very beautiful, there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were terribly afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you: ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, um, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let's go even unto Bethlehem, and let's see the thing which has come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and they found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at these things which were told them by the shepherds. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. Okay, this is a very familiar story. but still a very beautiful story. And we love the angels and we love the shepherds. Now, let's ask some questions. You know how we do here. You got to ask some questions. You don't just take it on face value. Does it say that the shepherds saw an amazing star in the sky? Oh, look, there's an amazing star in the sky. We should follow it. And did the angels follow a miraculous star to the Christ child? No. There is nothing to suggest that the shepherds saw any miraculous star in the sky. Actually, it's just the opposite if we listen to what it says. The shepherds were guarding the sheep one night. Okay, business as usual. And then in verse 10, an angel says to them, I've come to bring you some good news. Don't be afraid. And then the shepherds say, let's go see this thing which has been made known to us. And then the shepherds told everyone else what had been told to them. And then the shepherds went back to their sheep, back to their jobs, amazed at all the things that had been told to them. They're saying, wow, that was something. Did you see those angels? That was wild. But in other words, what it's saying to us is that the Christmas experience of the shepherds was they didn't know what was going on. They had no idea because at each step, the gospel story is very clear. They were told, all right? It was made known to them because they didn't know. It was revealed or they would not have known. And then they go back to being shepherds, back to business as usual. They've encountered the light of God in a very unique way, but in spite of that encounter, they have not changed. And listen, here's the thing. Many people today have that kind of experience around Christmas. The music is beautiful, and it is. And the colored lights are beautiful, and they are. And the trees are beautiful, and the shepherds are beautiful, and it's all beautiful. But then, after Christmas sometime, we pack it all away. We put it in the box. We drag the tree out with the rest of the trash, and it's January, and it's cold, and we're just glad it's over. Got through another Christmas. You see, in other words, what happened there is just like the shepherds. We encountered the beauty. We encountered the inspiration of Christmas. We felt the spiritual elevation. We touched the light that's uniquely available. But on the bottom line, it was basically just an interruption in our routine. Okay? Busy watching our sheep. And we go back to being shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over the flock by night. These guys work in third shift, you hear what I'm saying? So let's bookmark that, and now let's move on and take a look at the second experience of Christmas. It's very different, okay? Because what do we got this morning? We got shepherds, wise men, and Santa Claus. So guess which one's next? You guessed correctly. In the second experience, we turn to another very familiar story in the Gospel of Matthew. It's very different, but also sublimely beautiful, very beautiful to read aloud. And I love this story. And it's in chapter 2 of Matthew, but it's a very different Christmas story. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, I love that. I do. Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king. Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and we're come to worship him. When Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. And when he, when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he demanded of them where the Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee will come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him. And when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, The star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And, being warned of God in a dream, they departed into their own country a different way. Now, again, passage is very familiar. And listen, pictures of the wise men, they're everywhere, everywhere. And I guarantee you, if you go to the store and you look at Christmas cards, you're going to find a bunch of Christmas cards with the wise men and the camels and the gifts. And off in the distance, there's the miraculous star. We're following it. Now, listen, Matthew says repeatedly that the wise men were from the east. He really makes a point of this. The wise men from the east. Did I tell you they're from the east? Well, this is important. The Gospel of Matthew was written for a Jewish audience, and the Jewish audience would have instantly recognized the reference. The Jewish audience would have known that the phrase from the east was a reference to Genesis chapter 25. And this is talking about Abraham. It all comes back to Abraham pretty much. And it says, unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, then sent them away eastward into the east country. Their descendants pop up in the Bible many times, and they are called the children of the east. In other words, they were the cousins of the Jews. They were the cousins. They're the cousins back east, and they were well known for their wisdom. And actually, the wisdom of the children of the east was so great that it set the benchmark for what wisdom looked like. No one could have more wisdom than the children of the east. Now, then Solomon came along, and we remember that Solomon, the king of Israel, was known as a wise man. Now, how wise was Solomon? Good question. I'm glad you asked. 1 Kings chapter 4 says, Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country. Now, so we recognize that the children of the east are very, very wise people. And now, did these wise men, did they visit the Christ child lying in a manger? No, they just didn't. They visited him in a house. And they visited a young child, not a newborn. Now, let's plan a road trip. All right, let's plan a road trip from Babylon in the East Country to Jerusalem is nearly 1,700 miles. It's a long way. A camel can walk 20 miles a day. All right, so you do some arithmetic. And this would mean that a person riding a camel would take nearly 3 months to cover that distance if they traveled 20 miles a day every day without taking a break. Now, this is a very huge commitment of time and energy that they put into this. And the Jewish audience would have understood that there's no clear reference in the Bible to a miraculous star. Okay, that's part of the amazing part of this story. There is nothing in the Jewish scriptures about a miraculous star. This miraculous star that comes up every year at this time is far more likely to have been an inner spiritual experience or some inner knowing, or, if you like, a disturbance in the force. Okay? Nobody else saw it. That's the thing. The shepherds did not see a miraculous star. King Herod did not see it. The priests and the scribes of the people did not see it, nor did anyone in Jerusalem see it. But the wise men from the east country did see it. So, they're following their inner guidance with a huge commitment of time and energy. And what was their Christmas experience? And what does it teach us about keeping Christmas alive all year long? Well, it's simple. It really is. Seriously, it is. It is simple. It is so simple, such a seemingly casual remark that it's easy to miss it. Okay? The gospel story of Matthew says right at the very end of the story, and it's almost like this is the point of the story. It says they departed into their own country a different way. There's the clue. That right there is the clue that the Jewish audience would have picked up on. It is a reference. It is a reference to the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel the prophet, chapter 46, says, when the people of the land shall come before the Lord in the solemn feasts, he that entereth in by the way of the north gate to worship shall go out by way of the south gate. He that entereth by way of the south gate shall go forth by way of the north gate. He shall not leave by way of the gate through which he came in, but shall go forth the opposite way. Simple formula. All right, if you enter through the north gate, then leave through the south gate. If you enter through the south gate, leave through the north gate. Just whatever you do, leave the opposite from the way you came in. All right? Doesn't matter how you enter, north, south, nobody cares. The thing that really matters is how you leave. You leave opposite the way you came. That's the point. So here's the thing. To keep Christmas alive all year, we have to leave Christmas the opposite way from the way we came in. In other words, we have to be changed inwardly by our encounter with the light. If our hearts and minds are not changed, then it really was just an interruption in our day. There is no point in it if we're not changed inwardly. Just pack up the decorations once again, take the tree to the curb, put the decorations in the storage bin, and let's move on. Go shovel some snow. It's January. But when our hearts and minds are changed and transformed because of our spiritual encounter with the light, then we're going back to our lives different from the way we came in. Okay? And we can keep that elevation with us all year long. That's the point. The wise men were changed because of their encounter with the Christ child. The wise men, they were wise, okay? And they were willing to put in the time and the effort and the commitment to find the Christ child. What an amazing spiritual teaching that is. Their interconnection led them then to get the help they needed. And they said, no, Google was down that day, so they had to go and ask Herod the king and get the scribes, and everybody says, where are we supposed to go now? So they got the help that they needed, but unlike the shepherds who had the same encounter, they had the same encounter with the Christ child, but they were left unchanged. In contrast, the wise men from the east went home differently. They went home different from the way they came. That's the teaching for us this morning. That's our spiritual teaching, whether it's in prayer or meditation or spiritual study or book group or Course in Miracles or church on Sunday morning, whatever it is, whatever our spiritual encounter, we have to leave it different from the way we arrived. Prayer and meditation and spiritual study and church all share the same basic purpose, to change us, to transform our hearts and minds into something else, something different. Okay, but what? All right, so to answer that question, what are we going to be changed into? Okay, we're going to be all transformed and all this stuff. Then what are we going to be changed into? Okay, we're going to answer that. But in order to answer that, I have to tell you a story. I have to tell you a story about my mom. This December 7th, 2025. This is a story from long ago. My mother saved historic newspapers. She wrapped them in plastic dry cleaning bags and then kept them in her cedar chest. And on December 7th, 1971, the 30th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, my mother opened up the cedar chest and showed me the newspapers for the first time. And there it was. Man walks on the moon. July 1969. It was there. John F. Kennedy assassinated. November 1963. Japanese surrender. August 1945. Victory in Europe. April 1945. It was all there. All these historic newspapers. Then we came to the oldest one she had. And you know how it was. Back in the day, they would have little newsboys selling newspapers. Says extra, extra, read all about it. You know how they used to do. Special afternoon edition of the Columbus Ledger Enquirer, Sunday, December 7th, 1941. The headlines read, "Japs bomb Pearl Harbor." And I saw, and there, there it was in real time. And I saw these dark and grainy photographs, and I read the real time account when it was news. It was and on the attack on the naval base, and the newspaper was already yellow and brittle after 30 years. And then I turned to page two very, very carefully. Now here's the thing. Get the picture. Here's the thing. Page one was the story of the moment the world changed. All right? The world changed in smoke and fire. It was never the same. But page two was like this crazy dream. Page two is like this house of mirrors, in the carnival, something that I still remember after the passage of time. Page one was the end of the world in smoke and fire. And in some ways, it was the end of the world. It was the end of the old world the way we knew it then. Page two, Christmas was alive and well. Page two, it says, "Come to the Christmas parade downtown. Meet Santa Claus. Santa Claus shops at Curvin's department store. You should too. See Santa Claus at Montgomery Ward's. Special prices just in time for Christmas." There's this whole thing. The contrast. The contrast between the end of the world on page one and Christmas business as usual on page two just didn't make any sense. Now, I shared that story with you as an introduction to our third experience of Christmas. Okay. Now, in the first experience in Luke chapter 2, the shepherds encountered the light of God. They were told what to do at each step of the way, and they were amazed, but they went back to their lives the same as before. The second experience, Matthew chapter 2, the wise men followed their inner guidance. They followed with diligence and a huge commitment until they encountered the light of God, and they returned home different. They were changed. But changed into what? And how does this help us keep Christmas all year long? Well, here it is. For this, we are going to go to the third Christmas story, which is John chapter 3. This verse is probably as familiar as Matthew and Luke, which we just finished reading. The Christmas story in the Gospel of John is very short and very much to the point. And John chapter 3 says, "God so loved the world that he gave." Okay? There's more to it than that, as you know, but this morning, that's what we're going to look at. God so loved the world that he gave. The story of Christmas is a story of giving. All right? Now, giving. Okay? What does that mean? Not the things that we give out of obligation, not the things that we give and we resent feeling forced into doing it. You know those. And not the things that we give because we're going to look bad if we don't. But the things that we give from our hearts, the things we give out of love. All right? And it doesn't have to be things. It could be kindness or consideration. It could be putting somebody else ahead of you in line, letting somebody else go because they're trying to turn left into traffic. It could be giving your place or your chair to someone else. It could be giving a smile or a compliment, or perhaps saying a prayer for someone in distress or in pain. That's giving from the heart. It's not expecting anything back. The point is the giving. Giving can also be money. It can be material things. And we like to say, oh, well, I'm not going to give any money. They're just going to use it for alcohol. They'll just use it to buy cigarettes. They'll just use it for drugs. If I give them money, they'll misuse it. So I'm not going to. Now, maybe they will misuse it. Maybe they will use that dollar for something that I don't approve of. I don't know. And maybe they don't deserve it. I don't know. But what I do know is that God gives us life and light and breath, one breath at a time, and hope and opportunity and time, whether we deserve it or not. God gives us love and blessings, and even knowing that 9 times out of 10 we're going to misuse it. And pretty much 10 times out of 10 we're not going to be grateful for it. And yet we're given it anyway. The way to grow spiritually, you want to grow spiritually, okay, is to give and to share. All right. The way to become wise people, okay, you don't have to come from the East. All you have to do is to give and share from your heart. So remember, the shepherds, they went to look and they returned to their lives. Oh, it's amazing. Okay. Back to work. Break's over. The wise men gave out of love and they were transformed. The way out of chaos is to give. That's the teaching, like in the newspaper. On December 7th, 1941, on page 1, the world had descended into the chaos of fire and smoke. But on page 2, if you're wise, was a spiritual teaching of how to get out of chaos, whether that's in your own personal life, in your family life, in our nation, and our world. The way to get out of chaos is to give and to share. Okay? Be generous. Don't think about what they're going to use it for. It's not your business. Your business is to use that as a tool for spiritual sharing, spiritual learning, and spiritual elevation. Listen, I've come to think that, I've thought about this a lot, obviously, that the reason that Santa Claus has become such an important part of our Christmas tradition is that Santa Claus reminds us to give. All right? It's not enough to go to the manger and worship. That's very nice. Go ahead and do that. It's very nice, but it's not enough. In order to make that elevation of consciousness and make it last all year, we have to give and we have to share generously. That's the point of it. Otherwise, we're just going to pack it all in a box, store it away, throw out the paper, back to work, wondering why we just don't feel fulfilled anymore. The spirit of Christmas, the spirit we need to keep alive all year, is the spirit of giving and sharing unconditionally. So enjoy the music. Enjoy the music. It's beautiful. The colored lights, the pretty decorations, the trees. Maybe it'll be a white Christmas. It's starting to look like it, but who knows? The real meaning is to seek diligently for the divine child who is within ourselves. Okay? The divine child is already there waiting for us to knock on the door and then share the blessings and give the love generously, the way that we want God to bless us. Okay? We want God to bless us. So be a blessing to everyone else. Okay? Pretty simple formula. That's the spiritual teaching of shepherds, wise men, and Santa Claus. And that's how to keep the spirit of Christmas alive all year long. So, happy holidays to everybody. Happy solstice and Christmas and New Year and Hanukkah starting in a few days. Happy Christmas and blessed season to all of you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Steve?
I'm a
Steve,
coming.
back to you.
Thank you.
That's your cue.
Thank you, Mark.
Welcome.
Appreciate that message. So, we are going to carry Christ in us throughout the rest of the year, and that's how to make the spirit of Christmas last. Right?
Yep.
Thank you, Mark, for putting it so elegantly in such a good form of storytelling. We appreciate it. Anybody want to congratulate Mark for his beautiful gift here? Okay, here comes Jerry.
Mark, I want to thank you for, as you always do, helping me to appreciate what has been bothering me and what has been on my mind, and the fact that I can look at this as more of a giving season than all the hoopla and the chaos and the that you were describing. It just makes much more sense, and the connection of why people like Santa so well is because of the giving. And I hope that I can retain that information throughout the year as well. And I hope I can share it with my family too, because it will help them to get through it also. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, that's lovely. I think that part of the idea of Santa Claus is he's going to give us gifts that are going to last until next Christmas. So put that in there too. Anyway, thanks again, Mark. Lovely to have you on board today. And we now have a song by Shay called Seek Not Afar for Beauty.
Seek not afar for beauty, lo it glows in dew-wet grasses all about your feet, in birds and sunshine, childish faces sweet, in stars and mountain summits topped with snows. Go not abroad for happiness, behold, it is a flower blooming at your door. Bring love and laughter home and evermore. Joy shall be yours as changing years unfold. In wonder workings or some bush aflame, we look for truth and fancy it concealed. But in earth's common things it stands revealed, while grass and flowers and stars spell out the name.
Thank you, Shay. Yes, lovely. Okay, now we have our celebration of abundance. Yes. Uh-oh, no, that should stay with my phone. I'm actually stitching please get it back to me. Stitching my phone back together. So.
I just thought it was an interesting.
Yeah, right. Didn't mean to. Anyway, we hold over our hearts our gifts and say, divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive through infinity. I am prosperous. And thank you. Okay, we don't have the children today. Yeah, we had a very successful potluck, and some of the children's parents showed up, or friends of the congregation, let's say. And now we have announcements from the congregation.
Board meeting next Sunday.
We have a board meeting next Sunday.
Please join us. You can't vote, but if you want information, come.
We,
We have some important things to discuss.
yeah, we would like to have input from everybody that can make it. And then we have winter solstice coming up on the 20th, is it?
Yes, Saturday the 20th.
Friday the
In the afternoon.
Okay, we'll show up in the afternoon and do a little potluck type thing, snacking, just snacks, potluck snacks, whatever.
Yeah, snacks.
Okay, is that going to be provided by the church, or are we bringing our own? Okay, so we're all bringing our own version of snacks and talking about the closing of the season and the beginning of the new light. So now we have Bill Clark with his reading for us.
Good morning. Do you hear me okay?
Morning.
Do you hear me okay?
There in Zoom land.
Yes.
This topic is we need family. Call it a clan, call it a network, call it a tribe, call it a family. Whatever you call it, whoever you are, you need one. Quote from Jane Howard. We are social creatures, wired to live in relationships. Our identity can't come from work alone. We need social time and space, just as we need food and water. Even the most introverted among us need at least a few close friends with whom we can reflect, question, encourage, and support. It is these safe relationships that we develop and define ourselves. The walkaway is, I will take care of my family and my family-like relationships. We need each other. These relationships are the most important part of my life. This community here at this church is a relationship too. It fills something in our hearts. God bless and have a good week. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, very pleased to be part of our little community here. Okay, now we're going to have our closing circle with songs. So those that can join me up here.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant be with God as our Father. Family all are we. So let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. All right. Friends and congregation, thank you so much for welcoming us back into this fold, into this season, and into future together with you all.
God bless. Have a great week.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll take it.
Thank you, Steve.
You're
job.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to do.
Those are great.
It's not really Christmassy, but it's the
They are
season.
It looks Christmassy, you know
Well,
what?
it's sort of, but it's like preceding.
Yeah.
Bunch of gnomes and snow.
Mm-hmm.
The snow this week was wonderful.
Yeah, we missed it.
You didn't have any where you were?
No, we